So good morning, Sandra from
Being
Twist.
yes,
What
twist
what is
event.
what's Twist Events? Is it a platform? Is it a service? First time
Yeah,
starters.
multiple. It's all of the above. I'll say, definitely software and hardware.
Mhm.
Um, we do everything from on-site, registration, or sorry, pre-event registration rather, to scheduling one-on-one meetings, and then we offer a broad range of on-site services and technologies, whether that's for a physical on-site event or a virtual event or a hybrid of the both.
Mhm. Like what kinds of other additional on-site services?
Yeah, everything from webcasting to AV production, as well as helping at a one-on-one desk, so helping with any sort of last minute changes, so actually helping the event organizer in scheduling those meetings, or just managing any sort of on-site changes with that. And then we also offer on-site badging, and schedule printing as well, so anybody who comes to the event needs to print out a badge, and if they have a one-on-one schedule, they can go print that out at a kiosk as well.
Mhm.
um, what else did I mention? Yeah, webcasting. We have a mobile app as well, and RFID. So anyone who's interested in attendee tracking, we do offer that as well.
Mhm. And who do you work within certain vertical industries? It sounds broad-based enough that you wouldn't be confined to like pharmaceuticals or life sciences or whatever, right? Or are you
Yeah.
working primarily in some specific sectors?
So the good thing about Twist events in general, and so we do have different divisions. MeetMax being one of our platforms, which is the registration and the one-on-ones.
Mhm.
It's actually a very customizable platform. So in essence, although yes, we do provide sort of everything from A to Z, all of it is customizable to, for specific event needs. With that being said, we primarily work with a lot of financial companies, so banks, brokers, etc. But we work with associations as well. And we've worked in different verticals. So whether it's food or travel or I don't know, tech or whichever. Yeah,
Mhm.
we kind of, because we're so customizable, we can tailor to these very different and specific event needs.
So there are other platforms out there that you're either competing with or planners are finding other ways to, achieve the same objectives. I don't know what they're using, but I don't know, having registration desks, doing things manually, scheduling one-on-ones with spreadsheets, whatever it is. How is Twist differentiated from either those more analog, ways, processes, or the competitors in the field? How are you doing it differently?
Yeah, I think what sets Twist events apart is really that customization. And I can't stress that enough because we work with so many different event organizers on a global scale. And, just being in the nature of this business as well, where we understand that last minute changes are absolutely normal and they're definitely going to happen. I think because everything is, it's not necessary. Yeah. Well, a lot of our competitors have a lot of these products that are just sort of like off the shelf.
Yeah.
For us to be able to tailor to all these very specific needs, I think that's what makes it stand out. And we understand that mad rush of like getting an event set up and everything going smoothly from pre-event all the way to even sometimes post-event. I think we've made things so that it could be easier and less stressful in that way.
Mhm. Let me understand what you mean by customization. Give me
Yeah,
a couple of examples of, and this is
absolutely.
customization that the planner or the enterprise could do on their own, or they would go to Twist and say, I need this all done, and you would be able to do it quickly.
A mix of the both. So depending on how complex an event is and how complex those needs are. But yeah, what I mean by customization is if you take MeetMax, the software platform, for example, in terms of registration, there are definitely different registration paths that attendees can take. So if we look at associations who have trade shows with exhibitors and they also have attendees, those different registration, processes are going to be, they're obviously just going to be different, right? You register an exhibitor differently than you do an attendee. There's just different sorts of information that you need from one versus the other. One might take payments, one might not, etc. And then on the one-on-one piece, that's where it really gets, different one-on-one programs have different one-on-one needs. What we call in our world sort of moderated versus unmoderated. That's the moderated process is a process in which the event organizer sort of has full control over what a schedule should look like, and really curates these meetings. And those are event organizers who really, really care about these one-on-one meetings, and potentially if they have a hosted buyer program, they want to make sure that they're delivering on the number of meetings that are needed on the seller side versus the buyer who needs to actually fulfill those meetings to be hosted in that sort of program, right? But there are other programs where it might be sort of like what we call a free-for-all or unmoderated, where attendees can sort of decide on their own what their schedule should look like. So they could request one another, they could confirm their own meetings, and sort of just have more of that independence to create their own schedule. So we're able to cater to both of those, and then even a hybrid of the both. So we could really get into the nitty-gritty of those one-on-one meetings, but basically lots of customization in that aspect as well. And even with our other services, we do have event services, which is a very white glove service. There are different levels of service in that aspect as well. And even our webcasting, depending on the client's needs for webcasting, we can also we also offer different levels of service there too. So it's not just, one product is one thing, there are different sort of levels, let's call it, to these different categories. And we're able to work with our users to customize it to fit their needs in that sense.
What are the actual pain points that your platforms, I say multiple platforms, lines of business address? What's happening in the marketplace that TWST can remedy? What are their problems and which you're the solution?
I think the fact that we do all these things means our clients actually save time and money, because when there are too many moving parts, I think, there's a lot of work behind that. You got to download and upload a lot of data to, between these different event platforms. And then when you're getting, that first lift might be, okay, you're uploading, downloading, the first time, but then when there are changes that are going to happen, and they are going to happen because that's just like the source of the nature of this business, right? Where events always change and there's always last minute changes. That gets really hard, I think, to manage between different event platforms. And so the ease of doing it through TWST events is that everything is all centralized in one place, and everything speaks together. So it's sort of like you make a change somewhere, it's going to be reauthored everywhere else. So you don't have to just work with all this data, and that does create a lot of work and takes a lot of resource. So yeah, I think being able to save that time and money for our clients is very important to us.
Mm-hmm. What sort of technology category do you put yourselves into? Because you're doing lots of things, and normally I would sit there and think, it's more of a very specialty registration company, because with the one-on-one meetings, it's not normal. It's, when there's a lot on the line, then you have a one-to-one meeting platform. Otherwise, it's just, here's the reg system and, you're on your own. But I'm wondering where you put yourself in terms of the different technology categories that are out there.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about talking about yourself, what do you say you are?
Definitely an event management, platform. It definitely still falls under event management. Whether one-on-ones are a piece of that event or not, we work with both, use cases. So you don't have to have a one-on-one program to use TWST events, although we really love, we live and breathe one-on-one meetings for sure, but there are different aspects to an event that are equally as important. I mentioned we love working with people who care about attendee tracking, for example. So you want to know what people have been sitting in what room, what presentations have they been listening to, what sessions have they been attending. That might be important information to an event organizer, and we do offer that through RFID technology. But yeah, definitely, I think in general, we definitely fall under event management. Again, whether you have a one-on-one, meeting program or not, we definitely have services that could still be beneficial to an event. Yeah.
What kinds of organizations are the best fit? What's your sort of ideal customer right now?
So I'd say First, we definitely, whoever does care about a one-on-one meeting program or a hosted buyer program, for sure, we love to talk to those people. One-on-one meetings is basically our bread and butter. But second, like I mentioned too, events that have attendee tracking needs. Like I mentioned, we do have technology that helps for that, whether it's through scan trackers or through RFID. We do help with that as well. And then lastly, anyone who has a virtual component. So hybrid events, those are still happening. We still work with users who have full 100% virtual conferences, and we do have different services for those events as well. Hybrid events, we know how complex that can get. And, it's almost like really doing two side-by-side events, but we have both on-site as well as, virtual solutions to be able to help accommodate for those hybrid events. So anyone who has a virtual component, we're definitely interested in speaking to as well.
Do you also provide, especially in the hybrid category, managed services? So the behind the scenes production, or you just provide the platform?
No, we also do have that the event services on the back end, absolutely. And we do have different levels of service there as well. So we can, to be able to cut those sort of like different services to handle different really event needs. But we do have something a little bit more standard, but then we could also go to the extreme of like a full white glove service where we can help with anything, end user support, attendance tracking, no-show chasing for those one-on-one meetings, having a war room to be able to provide that support to our clients directly. So absolutely, we have those event services that could both be pre-event sort of support to to our clients, as well as that on-site support, virtual on-site support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds great. Well, I look forward to meeting you.
Yeah.